Welcome back, guys. I wanted to show you my front bed and how it's doing this year. So if you're interested in seeing what's going on in my front bed, stay tuned. Can't wait to show you what I've got here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. These I just cut back recently, so they look awful, but they're starting to grow new sprouts. And these are just green onions I got from either Aldi or Walmart. I used them and stuck them in the ground early January, and I've been eating on them since probably March. I waited a few months, but I could have eaten them right away. They just wouldn't have grown back as fast. I waited for them to start growing bigger so they would grow back. This right here is a bean, and all these throughout the bottom are beans except right here there's a Japanese beetle, a cucumber plant, which I was trying to let this go to seed this year, which I have heard that carrots don't go to seed until their second year, but some reason it's droopy. I'm not sure. I did let the cucumber get on it for a second, but I don't know what happened. Anyways, except the cucumber over there. All these are beans, and there's white northern beans and black beans because that's what our family eats the most of. I have a tomato here. That was a volunteer, but he's very healthy and doing great, so I'll probably leave him. We got some marigolds right here. There's one bloom, and see, these are the flower buds. Now, I want to share with you about these beans in another video and how I did them. So easy, but I'll let you know where I got the seeds and everything in another video. This one is a coneflower, and I'm not sure why it has not, or echinacea, why it has not, okay, well, I'll have to deal with that in a minute. But I'm not sure why it hasn't bloomed. It might be too tight in here. I'm not sure if it's not getting enough sun or what. It did bloom later last year, so I'm hopeful. I mean, it looks very lush other than that spot in there and then some slug damage. But I don't think that should affect it. It looks green. And there's actually another plant back here. So I'm hoping that this will come and bloom soon. This is catnip that came back from last year. It was like completely dead. I thought I'd lost it because I cut it back too much last year. But it came back and it's getting ready to bloom. So I can't wait for that. And then this one is chamomile. I've cut this back 4 times already. I've cut it back. I've trimmed the flowers off a couple times. And so it just keeps flushing out new growth. And so that's the trick to chamomile. If you want to harvest, and then, go ahead and, like, I should be harvesting this now because it'll flush out as soon, because I mean, there's these little tiny buds will start to develop once these are gone. So it will flush out as soon as the next one is gone. Of course, this is the corn, of course, and they say knee high before 4th of July, and it's already got its pollen and tassels, so I'm trying to make sure that it does get pollinated by kind of doing it myself. Not all of them have tassels. This one has a tassel, that one has a tassel, this one's starting to have a tassel, so, as they develop, I'll try to hand pollinate, because we don't have very many. Down here we have, sorry, you can't see that. Down here we have some pansies. They would typically be dead right now in the heat, but I kind of put them behind things so that they can have more room, or so they can live a little bit longer. Those will probably die out. Okay, so this looks like a mess, but I have a method to my madness. Okay, so this is my hyssop, and I've already harvested a couple times. And so I don't take all the flowers off because the bees love them, but this is my first year to actually harvest it for the flowers, and I made an oxymel, which I'll make a video on later, and so that's why it looks more spent than it would typically. It should be like full bloom, but I've cut it back. Next year I'll probably let it go a little bit longer before I harvest it. I've also got another plant in the back, which I showed you in another video, so check that out on my side yard garden tour. Okay, so this is the main event here. This is my lemon bee balm, and I got this one from Baker Creek, and it was actually a free pack, and I probably would not have bought this because I wouldn't have thought that I would have had a spot for it and all that stuff. And honestly, if I would have known how tall it got, I cut it back once. But if I would have known it would have got this tall, it probably would have got more tall if I would have let it go. I would have put it in the back, like back there with the beautyberry. So it is a perennial, so I'll probably move it back there in the fall. Once the blooms have spent, I'll cut it back and transplant it. Hopefully it'll transplant, we'll see. But this is mainly for the bees. They did say that it has a lemon flavor. I'm interested in that. I have not researched how to make or how to do it, so I haven't eaten it yet. I'm still nervous about eating anything I haven't researched really well, so I'm going to go ahead and research that. If you guys have had it or know how to use it, let me know in the comments. That'd be great. But I love how, like, it almost looks like it's painted. Like, it's just so pretty. And then, like, when the bees get in it, which is that we don't have very many bees right now because it's overcast, but but when the bees get in, it's so cute to let them, like, or to watch them put, like, their little heads in there. It's so cute. Okay, so this is motherwort, and I will eventually probably have a video just on motherwort. I've been looking for this plant probably for 6 years, and I finally found some seeds that were able to germinate. I got them at Baker Creek again, Baker Creek Rare Seeds, and it's been awesome so far. I think there's actually 2 or 3 plants in there. It's pretty. I really like the prettiness of it, but it's very medicinal, and so I'll get into that later. I'm still trying to research a lot of medicinal plants. I don't know a whole lot about them, so if you guys know a lot about these plants and how they're used, let me know, because I am willing to learn anything. So this is my lemon balm, and I will cut this back. I've cut it back, I think, 3 times this year. I dry it, and then my son loves tea in the winter, which I'm going to have to cut that back soon because it's encroaching on the peppers. But lemon balm does get huge, and it does reseed if you let it go to seed. I'm actually letting it go to flower right now. Usually I cut it back before that happens. And then it will take over your garden. So this is one you kind of have to be persistent about and not let it take over. It was like one tiny plant last year, and it's a lot bigger. So, but I have controlled it. I've cut it back, and it hasn't spread out anywhere else yet. That's my mother-in-law's plant. So it's just a sedum, mother-in-law, or you can call it mother-in-law too. I've got 2 peppers here. Oh, that reminds me. I've got a pepper hiding right here, which not the ideal place for it, but when I planted it, it was not, like, all the stuff was not hanging over. I am going to, today, I'm going to wrap a string around it and tie this back, just like I did with this. See how this is here? This kind of flops over, but I have if you can see that, a tie all the way around it with a stake. And that's actually, I did that with the chamomile too, because they'll just flop over. My husband will run it over with the lawnmower because he doesn't like things in his way. Okay, so I think that's a banana pepper and a jalapeno. I think that's what those two are. I'm not sure because I plant it and I think I'm going to remember sometimes and I don't. And when I'm planting in in pots, I always label everything. I do a good job. And then when I plant it in the ground, I'm like, oh, I'll just remember it now. No, I don't always. So, but I'll know whenever it starts flowering and the fruit comes. Okay, so this one is a beauty berry. It's like the one in the back, both of the two in the back. It's supposed to be good with mosquitoes, and I'll tell you, this year I've had less mosquitoes than any other year. Okay, sorry, there was cars. So I don't really know if it has anything to do with this. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So, but I really like this plant. It's beautiful and it helps with mosquitoes. Let me zoom in on the flowers. If you see my Instagram, you've seen the flowers. They have such little delicate flowers. And like the sweat bees love this guy. Well, it's not focusing. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, maybe it's because I have the big. Let's try that. Okay, sorry. But look at those little tiny flowers. They're so cute. I just love those. And then these are the start of the berries, and these are going to be really bright pink fuchsia all the way down the stem. And so they're going to be gorgeous. So I'll show you that when that happens. This plant I got from just hiking. I was out in the woods and I saw a sprig. It was like, it had 2 leaves on it. It was like this big. Actually, it was probably smaller than this. Okay. 2 sprigs that were smaller than this last year. And I've taken out 8 plants from here and it's still huge. Okay, so this is not one you're going to plant in your garden if you don't want it to just like take over, or you can maintain it. If you are into maintaining, go ahead, get it, maintain it. But it's one you're going to have to really like stay on top of or it'll take over your garden. I planted some flowers here because I wanted something that was pretty. My husband likes pretty gardens, so I tried to make sure that there was some more pretty stuff this year. This is supposed to be a spiller. This is supposed to be, kind of take over this area. I propagated some rosemary, which I'll talk about in another video. And then here is some marigolds that we missed, and then some pansies. These are actually doing really great here, which I was surprised. I thought they'd be dead by now. And actually, there's some wood sorrel in there. My son loves wood sorrel. So, that's right there. So he can eat that anytime he wants to. So it does look like it's just, weeds, but it's actually food for my son. He loves them. And they're actually really good for you. We'll have another video on wood sorrel. This was a wildflower mix that I planted in the fall, and I got it from the Dollar Tree. I probably overseeded it because that's kind of how the directions said. And it did okay. It had a white bloom, then it had a pink bloom, and it's got these guys, which I'll probably save the seeds of and plant thicker. Just this in one pot, because I do feel like this would be a really pretty flower if it was less like spindly and like laying everywhere. If it was shorter and more bushy, So, and I saw them at the store and I thought they were really pretty. I can't remember their names, but they are pretty. This guy is a mint It doesn't look like a mint, but square stems, it's a mint. It's actually pineapple mint. Oh, yeah, square stems. Okay. And it's a pineapple mint that's variegated, and I have a little bit more. It's hiding right there. So I give that away. I'll probably give some to my friends soon. And that the pineapple mint has not been so invasive. I'm not sure why. But I haven't really had to tend to it in the garden very much. I mean, it's barely grown any, so it's actually doing better in the pot. Okay, behind here is my celery. I planted it back here on purpose because I wanted something that would grow tall up behind it, but it wouldn't shade out everything behind it, which it might. I'm saving room. I know it's really late in the season to have peppers, but I'm going to put peppers here, and then I have some room over there. But I'm going to do that later because a bunch of slugs ate all of my peppers this year when I was all my peppers were eaten by slugs this year. When I put them in the cold frame, I did not seal the cold frame on the bottom, so they just kind of came in, they made a home, they ate all my peppers. So I'm going to try to put some peppers here when they get bigger. They are really small still, and I hope that they will get big enough to actually produce this year. We'll see. I have other pepper plants. If not, it's a gamble. These are an interesting mix. This guy's not doing good, this bean here. I think it's a Great Northern. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer. If it doesn't do anything in the next few days, I'm going to either take it out and just leave it, or take it out and replace it with a seed. This guy is holy basil, and this is the Tulsi holy basil. This is not the holy basil that tastes like licorice. This is the one that you take in pill form when you're trying to regulate your hormones and reduce anxiety. This one is, there are several that you can use in the same capsule, different types of holy basil. I don't have any of the other holy basil. It didn't germinate, but I will probably be planting that soon. So this has a lot of medicinal uses that we can go over later. I forgot about this guy. That's a lettuce that was from the fall that's still growing. I think it likes heat better because it's starting to grow a lot more in the heat, or it might be bolting. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so this guy is the Christmas pepper. So I can't wait to show you this because it goes like the rainbow worth of colors, the peppers do. So it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be gorgeous. And it's actually functional because when the peppers get red, you can use it in red pepper oil to help with your hair, or you can also use it on salads or on wraps or things like that. It tastes a lot like cayenne to me, or like a Tabasco type flavor. Sorry, I keep pausing because there's cars going by. This is the black pearl pepper, and it is gorgeous too. It's great because it is really in full peppers during Halloween, and it's dark purple. Almost black, and then the berry or the fruit is also purple, and then it has like green flecks in it. And actually, I planted one last year, like just a pepper in this bed, and several of them popped up. I've been kind of pruning them, like taking out some. Oh yeah, and then that's an asparagus fern that came back from last year. I didn't think he'd come back, but he did. I've been pulling out the yarrow, so he's got more room. Okay, so that's just this side of the garden, the front garden, but I I'll go over the other side. This is just a lot of plants to go over. I'm not sure what time we're at because we had several jump cuts from the cars going by, but I know this is getting to be a long video. So this is this side of the yard. And I mean, there's a lot in here, and I don't know if that's going to hurt me or help me this year. I might have put way too much in it, but I'd rather overplant than underplant because I don't have a whole lot of space. So at this point, I'm doing my best to use the space I have. And oh, there are some volunteers that have like popped up throughout the bottom. So do I like weed them out? Sometimes if they're getting in the way of something, if I feel like something's suffering because of it, I will. But if I feel like I could get something else out of it, then I will not. I'll just leave it. So like this tomato was a volunteer. I did not plan on putting tomatoes on this side at all this year, but I had tomatoes on that side last year and they reseeded themselves. So sometimes they do that. That's fine. I kind of like the surprise of a volunteer. But anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. If you like my content, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have some planties following me. I love tips and tricks, and I love to share my garden with people. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.